This is interesting. So I'm watching Holder interview Jada Pinkett Smith, and seems like a year later, all the facts are coming out about Will slapping Chris Rock. Tell you what though, man, Jada's looking good, man. Even with that short hair, ain't too many women can pull that off. Looking pretty good there, Jada. This is just my follow up to when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, which I say was still wrong. If he's gonna do something like that, he could have waited till they was off camera. And this is where Jada met Tupac, Baltimore School for the Arts. Yep, they all was hanging out back then. Tupac, Jada. Jada and Tupac had a lot of love for each other. Young Jada. That's inside of the Baltimore School of the Arts. That's one of the problems I had with Tupac. And that's the reason why he don't get the love back here on the East Coast, is because you're from the East Coast and then you go to California and start repping the West Coast and start putting the East Coast down, but that's where you're from originally. Another picture of Pac and Jada. Okay guys, it's time for the Mythbuster. A lot of people think that Jada was still in love with Tupac, but that wasn't the case at all. Listen to what she has to say.
It was my sophomore year, and he looked over and he saw me and he just targeted me. And he said, "Hi, I'm Tupac." And I said, "Hey, I'm Jada." And we were inseparable from that moment.
What drew you to him? What was it?
He was such a charismatic. He had this beautiful smile. He had a little peanut head. This little peanut head. I remember being at my house on Price Avenue on the back porch, and he was like, "Oh, we should try it." And I was like, "Pac, kiss me. Go ahead, just kiss me." And so he kissed me, and we both pulled back like, "What the hell?"
It was not for you or for him.
It was not for either one of us.
But their friendship would last forever. Jada said her and Will Smith been sleeping separately since 2016. Wow. It's almost, what's that, 7 years? Tupac and Jada in Baltimore. So Jada is 52. She has a new book out called Worthy. That's her as a teenager. That's Jada with her mom. She used to be a nurse. That's her with her dad. Look like, I don't know, West Baltimore. So Jada grew up in Mount Vernon, part of Baltimore, which is like North Baltimore. Jada and Tupac grew up in Mount Vernon, Baltimore. Mount Vernon. It's like North Baltimore, Mount Vernon. It's actually kind of nice urban neighborhood, like any other city. It's got its little drug problems and crime. Jada went to school in the day and was selling crack at night. 17 years old. Yeah, back then. Baltimore, bad too, man. One of the crack capitals of the world back in the 80s and 90s. Along with D.C., Washington, D.C. Drama student and drug dealer. Jada living that wire life. That look like West Baltimore. She almost got killed selling drugs. Guys came in with 2 9mm, took her stuff. That's when she said she had enough of that street life and drug dealing. So her mom sent her to North Carolina, and then from there she went to California. Keenen Ivory Wayans opened the door for her when she went to Hollywood, and Debbie Allen gave her her big break on A Different World. She's playing a no-nonsense girl from Baltimore. Meanwhile, Tupac was doing the same thing. He moved from Baltimore to California about the same time. He made a guest appearance on A Different World. There he is kissing Jada. Okay, so when Jada Pinkett had this what she called it, entanglement, an affair with this August Rush guy, they were separated. They've been separated since 2016, faking like they've been living together. They've been living apart. They have been living apart for years. August Alsina. I gotta say, I feel sorry for Will Smith listening to his wife, because they still married, tell him about his affair with his son's friend. But like we're finding out now, they have been living apart already, but still took a lot of restraint not to get about that seat. That's who Will Smith should have been smacking, was that guy, that kid. But hey, they were apart, so that's how it goes. So when they went to the Academy Awards, they weren't even living together. Will called Jada and said, "Will you go with me?" And she said, "Yeah," because they still family. They still love each other. They still have love for each other. So to make a long story short, when Will Smith hit Chris Rock, Jada thought it was a skit. She didn't realize Will had even hit Chris until she heard Chris say, "I'm not gonna press charges," and that's when she says, "Press charges? What?" And then Will said, "Yeah, I hit him." And she was like, "What?" And she ended up being the bad guy because she rolled her eyes, and that seemed like that triggered Will to go up there. The only problem I had with Will Smith defending his wife is the fact that he got up and went up there and slapped Chris Rock. If he would have just said what he said, keep my name out your mouth, it wouldn't have been so bad. If he would have just done that, people would have been like, wow, but it wouldn't have been so bad. Especially to do that on the biggest night of your career, the night you're getting the Academy Award. You could have said, "Hey man, I will see you after the show," and then done it. But anyway, I understand that's your wife and that's your family. But you're still wrong for hitting a man in public. That was just dumb, because now it's on video forever.